Folks, thanks for joining us today. We'll be spending the next 50 to 60 minutes or so going over the concept of working with a carrier for the entire product portfolio and how that can support your marketing during AEP year-round, actually, but make certain that we feature one of our premier partners, no pun intended, with Aetna Senior Supplemental Plans. Today's presentation is being recorded, and it will be sent to everyone who has expressed interest in today's webinar. Hopefully it doesn't get pulled off in your spam filter. We're seeing a number of that here lately, going to more links than attachments. But it'll also be posted on our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel as well. You'll notice, as a bit of housekeeping, that the software system has a section for both chat and questions. We ask that you put your questions in the questions box, and we find that normally we cover them through the course of the presentation, but we want to make certain that we answer any questions that you may have in order for you to make certain that this is a solid addition or emphasis in your portfolio moving into what is, boy, the marketing period of AEP starting the end of the week. All that said and done, I want to also do a bit of level set for those of you who may not be as familiar with Premier Marketing. We are a national marketing organization founded in 1968 that's part of the Integrity Marketing Platform. There are offices across the country. We're contracted in all 50 states. We do act as an insurance wholesaler through independent insurance agents and agencies such as yourselves. And we do so through a program of contracts that are at the highest possible commission levels, with recruiting contracts available to those who qualify. We do so through a full portfolio of product. So it covers the Medicare programs, the Medicare Advantage, Medicare Supplement, standalone prescription drug programs, but also a full portfolio of life insurance and annuity products, final expense life insurance, pre-need plans, long and short-term care programs, disability income plans, and ancillary benefits that are the needs above those base medical costs that include dental, vision, hearing programs, critical illness cancer plans, hospital indemnity programs, accident programs, and we even introduced a telehealth program earlier this year. Our Medicare Advantage portfolio has those national carriers in play for you and many of the strong regionals that can make a difference for you in your market. And that same philosophy carries over into the standalone prescription drug programs, where those plans are available to you through our organization as well. You'll find that in nearly all these cases, it's all part of the same MA contract, or can be anyway. So it's pretty simple for you to make certain that we cover the gambit of needs for our prospects and clients, and that includes the use of Medicare Supplement programs. We want to address the full spectrum of product that is necessary to cover the emphasis we place on Medicare Supplements, both the depth of the offerings and the tools that are in place to help you be successful in this space are an important part of an overall philosophy of covering folks. Those ancillary products in each of those categories, we do have the leaders in those fields available to you. And as I mentioned, we brought on a telehealth program and a health matching program that you might find very interesting as well. When we look at the Medicare market overall, we're seeing a burgeoning demographic that's aging in to Medicare. The aging of the baby boomers, the silver tsunami, 1 every 10 seconds, 10,000 plus a day, those sorts of things. But if you look at Medicare based on age, you got a bit of a skewed opportunity, because we're finding a lot of folks are becoming eligible for Medicare, but they're not immediately accessing those benefits. So it's driving down that overall market number of 63 million plus. Gee, that's tough, but we find that that's more than also made up by the folks that are accessing Medicare because of medical disability, even though they're under the age of 65, 15%. Kaiser Family Foundation tells us. So we've got a big market there, and a market that needs our help with a spectrum of product, with a carrier that's able to deliver upon the needs of that population. Because, gee, 2/3 of them have 3+ chronic conditions. Most of the time, they need help beyond the medical portion of the expenses in order to cover that. Simply because in a lot of cases, budgeting outside of a reasonable amount per month, gee, you come up with a lump sum on some of that based on the income and assets of many of these folks. We've got to give them choices for whatever choice they pick, because the number of them they can actually decline Part B of Medicare. Thankfully, most don't. Some of them will choose to self-insure for the medical portion and pick up a standardized, modernized, well, that's the pitch for the next one, that Part D program that can help them with the cost of their medications. Some then will also pick up the standardized, modernized Medicare Supplement plan to cover that gap in the coverage. Boy, why they're called a Medigap program. Some will also bundle all of those programs into the Part C programs, the Medicare Advantage plans, in order to make certain that they're fully covered. And we're seeing that as they age in, well, Deft Research tells us it's a pretty even split between the Medicare Advantage and Medicare Supplement programs. And this is based on folks that are aging in and those late to Medicare seniors. We also see a portion of them that show up as original Medicare only. These may be dual beneficiaries, those folks that have both Medicare and Medicaid. They may be folks that are accessing care through the VA and aren't picking up or they use the other coverage. It may be folks that are, well, they're covered through a retirement plan from work to work. It does also have those folks in it that have that challenge of the decision to make a decision is a decision, didn't do anything, or chose to self-insure. They're in that category as well. So we want to make certain that we have the programs in place to help them and also be able to translate the language that's going to be coming at them or has been coming at them based on these lovely acronyms. Every part of our society has their own language. We do as well. It's nice to have a guide that will help us with the translation of those acronyms, no matter how long we've been in the industry. So part of the follow-up that you'll receive is a link to this guide provided to us by the Medicare Learning Network, which is a governmental site. We do that simply because they also need help with the different election periods. We're all prepped for, hopefully we are, for the annual election period that starts next month. You've got that marketing piece from the first of the month, but at 15th, we begin to sell in earnest. We want to make certain that we're also familiar with the other standard election periods as well, and some of the steps that we have to consider the special election periods, so I don't get involved in all just acronym talk that they have. That includes some of the standard ones, some of the things brought about by weather, all those different things. It's crucial for us to make certain we're part of that outreach because Kaiser Family Foundation tells us that the majority of people don't review or compare their coverages annually. And a lot of these folks are the folks that really need that the most, the folks of greater vulnerability, the ones that really need our help to make certain that health challenges doesn't take them into bankruptcy or someplace beyond that. And even those that are looking at some of the information that's sent to them, they don't understand it. So our role as an independent agent can help them even make use of the government sites, the Medicare Health Plan Finder, which they're not using either, the other pieces the government picks out there. We want to make certain we're able to deliver information to them in a manner that they can understand and in the manner they want to receive it. There's not a lot of paper used anymore. You have all the sales kits that have been pre-ordered, the ones that are available to you to order moving forward. But beyond that, even though we're looking at some things on an in-person basis, at this point anyway, we want to be able to pivot to a virtual delivery or a virtual follow-up in order to make certain that we're accommodating everybody that we can. Because over the last year and a half, they've been taught to take that information electronically by their docs, by their specialists, by the hospitals. Even some dentists are doing some things in this fashion. Gee, if they go to church or synagogue or practice some instance of faith, we're seeing that online and still online even today. So we've asked our friends at Aetna to help us, and our good friend Kevin Moore, who's the regional vice president for Aetna, to come on board and help us understand how a good, solid, dependable carrier like Aetna can be our source and a prime example of a portfolio and a delivery package that can help us with these people now and moving into the near future. Kevin, I'm going to turn controls over to you here. You have the helm, sir. Thank you for coming on to help us.
Okay, great. Good afternoon. Can you confirm that you can see my screen, John?
Sure can. Prepare for AEP, Aetna Senior Supplemental Insurance 2021.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And thanks for the introduction. And as always, thanks for the opportunity to do something here with you today. So thank you. And thanks for those who are attending. I want to apologize now. I am getting over a little bit of a cold. So if my voice sounds a little bit foggy or froggy, that's the reason. But I'm feeling fine and I am happy to be here today. So want to just talk to you. I got a lot of slides, but I'm going to try not to just bowl you over with slides and kind of just hit on the high points. Just kind of get you thinking about some things that Aetna Senior Supplemental has available for you as you head into AEP and you're getting ready to, help your clients make some big decisions about their health care. As always, some of this, you may have heard in the past from me or from others from our company, but the division of Aetna that I represent is Aetna Senior Supplemental. So it's not the Medicare Advantage side of the business, it's the Medicare Supplement side of the business. But in addition to having a Medicare Supplement product, we also have a lot of other products that are really, really designed to help build a full portfolio of products for your client. So that's kind of what we're going to hit on today. Our division of Aetna is based in the Nashville, Tennessee area. We've been in the market for over 35 years. If anyone has ever heard of the old company name Continental Life, that's us. We're just owned and operated for about the last 10, 11 years or so by Aetna. We're kind of, believe it or not, still sort of a small company within a much larger company. We only have about 400 employees. We've got about 100,000 licensed agents. We're, very focused on bringing you products that bring good value, not only just in terms of benefits and coverage, but in terms of premiums and rates as well. Same goes for commissions. We know that, you're in this business because you want to help people, but also it's a way you make a living. So we want to make sure you get paid top dollar for that. And then, as I mentioned before, we have a lot of products in addition to our Medicare Supplement that are designed for cross-selling opportunities. So we're going to try to touch on some of those today. We are an A-rated company by AM Best. So that means when you're representing us, you're, providing service to your clients from one of the best carriers in the business. We are actually operating under 5 different entities or charters. Just if you look on this page, you'll see there's different company names. And I know it sounds like they're totally different companies, but they're actually not. They're all just a part of Aetna Senior Supplemental. And they're just different names that we use to file products under. So you have Aetna Health and Life, Aetna Health Insurance, American Continental, Continental Life, and then the newest one, which is Ascendo. So these are all just different entities that we use to file products under, but they're all administered and handled out of our office in the Nashville, Tennessee area. Again, the division of the company is called Aetna Senior Supplemental. So here's just a quick list of the different types of products that we offer. I've already mentioned several times Medicare Supplement. We also have a critical illness plan called Cancer, Heart Attack, Stroke. We have a hospital indemnity flex plan. 2 actually dental, vision, hearing plans now, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about the newest one that we just launched within the last few months here in a little bit. We also have a plan called Home Care Plus, Recovery Care, and a final expense product. And then on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll see that's our product availability chart. This is a new one, just came out about a week or so ago. Probably too small to really get a good feel for it, but I want to let you know that to get a better understanding of what products are available in the area or the state that you want to market in, just go to our website, which is aetnaseniorproducts.com. Again, aetnaseniorproducts.com. And from there, you can actually get a bigger copy of this chart, and you can always see, what product exactly is available for you to market in the state that you're in. And most products are in most states, by the way. So don't want to spend a ton of time on it, but I want to just remind everyone, that we are a MedSup carrier. We do, have a very competitive MedSup. And why would you want to choose us as a MedSup provider for your clients, or why would your clients want to choose us? We offer a broad choice of plans. Our plans are portable, which means that if you buy a policy from us and then later down the road you move from one state or one location to another, you don't have to change plans. You're not forced to change. Some other carriers, I do understand they do that, or they will re-rate you based on your new zip code. We don't do that. The policy is guaranteed renewable for as long as you pay the premiums. We accept pre-existing conditions, so that means that as long as you're accepted as a policyholder, we're going to cover you, even if you had some condition that you were concerned about having coverage for or not. When you get the policy, you will be covered. As I mentioned before, very competitive commissions, very competitive premiums, and we do offer lots of different sales incentives as well, which is, for you, the agent who's helping your clients, some different reasons to, sell, putting some more money in your pockets, or some other opportunities, which I'll get into in a little bit. So for those who may or may not be aware, we actually have in most states 2 different Medicare supplement products. So we're going to have usually our traditional Aetna Med Supp, which can be branded as Aetna Health and Life or Continental Life, American Continental, one of those. And then we're also usually in most states going to have our newer CVS Ascendo Medicare Supplement. And so you may be asking yourself or wanting to ask me, which I do encourage you to ask questions, by the way. Please use the chat box or the questions box, as I think John mentioned a little while ago, to ask your questions, and we'll get to as many of those as we can. But you may be wondering, why would we have 2 different med subs? Well, the answer is they kind of serve 2 different sort of rate strategies. So one might be a perfect fit for your client in some cases, and then in another case, the other one might be a perfect fit. It just sort of depends on the situation your client's in. It oftentimes will depend on, whether or not they have someone else that lives with them, because one of the biggest differences between these 2 policies is going to be the household discount. So on the Aetna Med Supp, in most states, it's going to be a 7% household discount, and it will require you usually to have 2 policyholders. So what that means is you must have 2 people who are on an Aetna Med Supp plan in order for either of you or both of you to get that 7% household discount. By contrast, with Ascendo, the household discount is much larger. As you can see, it's 14% in most states. It does vary a little bit, here and there. But in most states with Ascendo, we do not require the other person living with you to be on a plan with us. So you can actually get that 14% discount just by having at least one other adult that lives with you. And what we would classify as an adult is someone over the age of 18. So if you've got a grandson or granddaughter living with you, or a scenario like that, or a son or a daughter, or maybe it's a spouse or a significant other that just hasn't aged into Medicare yet, that's not a problem. As long as you have an adult living in the same household with you, then that will qualify you for the 14% household discount. That's huge. And you notice on that, it is between 1 and 3 adults. So if there was more than 3 adults living in the house, that usually gets into a situation that is different than a standard living situation. So we don't offer the discount on that, but that's unusual that comes up anyway. So other than that, that's a big opportunity to save there with that 14% household discount and the looser definition of who qualifies for it. Really, the only other difference between those that I mentioned and the names of the product being different, there's a little bit different in the application fee. For Ascendo, it would be $25 versus $20 on the Med Supp, and that's just a one-time fee, by the way. So that's really about all I had on Med Supp. Take a look at our rates out there in whatever state you're wanting to market in, because more often than not, we're going to be very competitive. So just wanted to kind of make you aware of that. What I really want to spend more of our time today on is some of our ancillary products, because I think it's a good opportunity as you go into AEP. You're seeing your clients, you're helping them make decisions about who and what they're going to have as far as their major medical or their major Medicare provider, whether it be a Med Supp or a Med Advantage plan, or if they're changing or whatever the case may be. But it's a great time to look and see what else can you do for your client besides help them with that Medicare plan. Is there some additional coverage that they could really benefit from? And I think in most cases there is. And I think a lot of times it comes down to, educating your client about what their risks are and then providing possible solutions. And here's a chart that I've been using the last, couple of years, really. I think it's very handy because it kind of helps put things in perspective about, how likely we are to incur, costs that are going to be more than what we expected for common occurrences. So real life certainties, and I admit my numbers are getting a little outdated on this. I need to keep some newer, fresher data in here, and I'll do that soon. But in the meantime, using an example from 2017, 71% of those 65 or older did not have any type of dental insurance. And that's a big thing. It's really important to have something. Oftentimes seniors are used to having some sort of dental coverage through their employer or their employer coverage, and then they retire, they go on Medicare, or they become Medicare eligible, and then there's no sort of default coverage ordered or offered in most cases. A lot of the Medicare Advantage plans are now offering some dental, and that's great. We offer a plan, and I'll get into it more in a little bit, that actually covers in addition to any other coverage they may have. So maybe they have some with their Medicare Advantage plan, or maybe they have another dental plan, but our plan will work, alongside that without conflicting with it. It doesn't coordinate with the other type of dental coverage they may have, which is a good thing. You don't want it to do that. So they can kind of double up on coverage in a lot of cases that way. And taking care of your teeth is important, by the way. A lot of times we don't realize that, your dental health has a lot to do with your overall health as well. So it's a big concern. 42% of costs associated with a cancer diagnosis are indirect. What that means, indirect, is non-medical, meaning you really don't have any insurance that's going to cover that. So, you're talking about travel expenses to go get treatment, or, missing work to get treated, or, having to have someone help you while you're going through treatment, and, that can cause loss of income for others. There's a ton of different things it could be. Prescriptions. A lot of times your prescriptions aren't covered as well as you would think they would be for a cancer diagnosis and what you need there. So we have a plan that actually pays cash upon cancer diagnosis that will help offset a lot of those indirect expenses. Beyond that, oftentimes we don't think about it, but there's a likelihood that we're going to need to, at some point in our life, spend time in a facility receiving care, whether it be assisted living or nursing home. And they say that can cost anywhere from $3,750 up to $8,100 a month for that type of care. And that's very expensive. That may be well beyond what your medical coverage or your Medicare coverage is covering. So we have specific plans designed to help cover that. Other stats on here, almost 40% of adult Americans are not able to cover a $400 emergency and pay it off quickly. I think, probably a lot of us have dealt with things similar to that personally, so we can attest to that. So that's oftentimes medical, and plans like this will really help at a time when you need it most. 1 in 4 adults will skip necessary medical care, that was back in 2018, but due to affordability, and I'm sure that hasn't gotten better. That's probably the same or worse at this point. So again, having a small plan like what we offer with these ancillary plans can really help you when you need it most. When you're sick, it's oftentimes an emergency and you need to get care immediately, and don't put off your health because of affordability. We have plans that will help. And then the last stat down there, an average funeral runs between $7,000 and $9,000. So, that's an inevitable expense that we're all going to face at some point. Why not have a plan that's specifically designed to address that, which is what a final expense plan will do. Likelihood of using your different insurance policies. And I always think this is really interesting because, we all really, if we own a home, have to have a homeowner's insurance. You're required to have that policy. Same goes in most cases with an auto policy. If you drive a vehicle, you have to have it covered by insurance. You're legally required to have that type of coverage. So your likelihood of filing a claim on a homeowner's policy is about 0.04%. And on an auto, it's 0.06%. So your chances are pretty low. I'm not saying it will never happen, but it's not as likely as you would think. Cancer, we have a 40% chance of filing a claim should we have a policy. Why are we not legally required to have a cancer policy? We're a lot more likely to get it, unfortunately. So more reasoning there to have that type of coverage. Long-term care, long-term care coverage is very expensive and many people cannot qualify for it. We have some plans that are not really long-term care, and they're more like short-term care, but they can give you 1 to 2 years of coverage, which is a lot better than not having anything. And as you can see, you have about a 70% chance of needing that type of care at some point. So it's important to have something. And then if you have a dental plan, you have a 100% chance of filing a claim. We all, take care of our teeth, or we want to take care of our teeth. You're going to use that on a regular basis. And the same goes with the final expense. That's inevitable. As I mentioned before, death is still unavoidable. So if you have a policy, you have a 100% chance of using that policy. So it's important to have. So those are just kind of some thoughts to get you thinking about, what your clients are at risk for and what you can do to help them. So I want to talk a little bit about our cancer, heart, and stroke plan. This is some information that I took straight out of our brochure, and I highly encourage you to take a look at that. I mentioned our website earlier. I'll just say it again. It's AetnaSeniorProducts.com. Would encourage you to look at some of our brochures and product material that's available, because it's really designed to help you educate your customers, help them understand what their risks are and how likely they are to need this type of coverage. I can't tell you how many times I just open up a brochure and start having a conversation with my clients. And this is a page straight out of that. It just talks about the risk being real and then how likely we are to face it. And then I won't go through all these because I'm kind of trying to keep us on track for the sake of time. But just wanted to say that you have that coverage, or you have these stats here to help your clients understand what their potential out-of-pocket could be if they're diagnosed with cancer, if they have a heart attack, or if they have a stroke. How likely are they to be? And then this goes into, the potential of out-of-pocket cost and the potential survival rates, which are actually increasing. Those are going up. So that's tools and information that's there to help the client understand. Beyond that, who can you write this product on? Its issue ages are 18 to 89, so you've got a wide range of people there that can be helped with a plan like this, 18 to 89. You can write it on your younger clients, or you can write it on your older clients. Sometimes there's confusion about this plan, that some are under the impression that your coverage would end at the age of 89. That's not exactly the case. It's not the case. I shouldn't say it's not exactly. It just isn't the case. You can only write this policy up until someone's 90th birthday. But once they have the policy, it's in force for life. If they live to be 150, they'll still have the policy. You can write it with a benefit amount as low as $5,000 or as high as $75,000. I would encourage to start your clients around the $25,000 range and then work up or down from there, depending on how much premium they want to pay. You can cover an individual with this plan. You can cover an individual and a spouse, or you can cover an individual and children, or you can cover an entire family. There is a waiting period on this policy. Once you write it, it's 30 days. Basically what that means is that no claims will be valid in the first 30 days. After that, they're covered for everything. Suggestions. These are my personal suggestions for affordable coverage. Look at the cancer-only version of the product for your senior clients, especially your Medicare Advantage policyholders. The reason for that is that, Medicare Advantage actually does a really good job of dealing with the cost associated with a heart attack or stroke. It's cancer that can get very expensive to be treated with the Medicare Advantage plan. Excuse me. So I would encourage, look at specifically the cancer-only version of the plan for your Medicare Advantage policyholders. If you do run across people that are younger, families, whatever the case may be, I would encourage you to look at the full suite of the product. I call it CHAZ, because that's cancer, heart attack, and stroke all combined into one. It's going to be more affordable at the younger ages. And the premiums don't go up on this product, by the way. So, now is a great time to buy always. Excuse me. Benefits for this plan will be paid upon diagnosis, and it is cash benefit, tax-free, and they don't have to use the money for anything specific. They can use it for whatever they want. And that's kind of the cool thing about this. As I mentioned before, 42% of the costs associated with a cancer diagnosis are indirect, meaning that's not going to be covered really by any insurance. Well, this plan pays you cash. So anything that they receive in benefits, they can use to do whatever they want with. If they want to get treatment that's not covered by their insurance, then they can do that. Or if they want to go take a vacation, they can do that. They want to go on, buy a boat, that's up to them. It's the same lump sum benefit amount for each covered person. So if you cover a couple, then both are going to be covered for the same amount. If you do end up covering children, they're covered till age 26 or until they're financially independent, which I always say is never. No hospitalization required or treatment required. So again, if they don't want to go through treatment, they don't have to. If you do happen to write up a couple, this is very important to know about this product. If you run across a scenario where you have a couple and there's an age gap, you always need to put the youngest person as the primary person on the policy. That way the rates are actually going to be based off of that younger person. The older person gets coverage for that younger person's rate, which can be a huge difference in a lot of cases. It's designed to help offset their out-of-pocket expenses. There is a recurrence rider, and I won't go into great detail about that, but I would just say you always want to add that on, because what happens is if you're diagnosed with cancer and you get your benefit, your chances of being diagnosed again are pretty high. And if you have that recurrence benefit on there, that means that it will build back up over time. And if you have another diagnosis in the future, you get another benefit. So that can be a huge reason to have this plan. Oftentimes we get asked, well, what if they've had cancer before? Can they buy the plan? The answer is yes, as long as they've been healthy and cancer-free without receiving treatment for at least 5 years, the last 5 years. So there's just a review on that. I think we covered everything. Let me see if there's anything on here I forgot to mention. One of the questions we get asked commonly about this product is, what about skin cancer? Is that covered? Well, the answer is yes, as long as it's the serious form of skin cancer, which is called malignant melanoma. Malignant melanoma, that would trigger a benefit, and that's 100% benefit. There is similar plans out there that would only pay a percentage of the benefit based on a skin cancer diagnosis. We don't do that. So for skin cancer, we would pay the full benefit. If it's not the serious form of skin cancer, if it's basal cell, then that would not trigger a benefit, unfortunately. So other than that, every major cancer is covered. One of the other ones we get asked about sometimes, there's an internal cancer that can be hard to detect, called Insight-to-It or Insit-to-It, if anyone's ever heard of that. That is covered. And a lot of other similar plans out there from other carriers don't cover that. If you were diagnosed with an In-Situ-It form of cancer, then we would cover that. So I don't know, John, do you have any questions, or has anyone asked any questions so far?
Got me on mute. Yes, there's one, and it's inquiring as to your organization's tenure in the Illinois market. How long have you been there?
I don't know. That's a great question, by the way. I don't personally cover the state of Illinois typically, but I'm pretty familiar with it. I don't know how long we've been there, but it's been as long as I've been around, which has been about the last 5 years, and definitely before that too. I will follow up with you on that, John, and let you know a more specific answer, but I would say that it's most of our time in the business has probably been in the state of Illinois. I know we've had at least the last 5 years, if not more.
Awesome. Thank you. And the other question,
sure.
There were two other questions that were covered through the course of your presentation. So we're good there, I think. So
okay, good deal.
For the questions for now.
All right. Well, I will move on. I think that's all I wanted to share with you about that particular product. I want to move on and talk about our hospital indemnity flex. Again, we have a lot of products. I'm not going to cover all of them because that would take a long time, but I just picked a few of the ones that I think are going to be most relevant to you heading into AEP, like the MedSup, because that oftentimes comes up. The cancer product, I think, is always very beneficial to discuss. But the reason I picked this next product, the hospital indemnity flex, is that it really, really specifically pairs very well with any Medicare Advantage plan. And I say any Medicare Advantage plan because I think a lot of times a broker or an agent gets into a habit of, well, I'm going to sell this product from company ABC, so I can't also sell them an Aetna product that's not from, that's not the case. You can pair this with any market, any different carrier's product out there when it comes to Medicare Advantage. So don't think that they have to have an Aetna Medicare Advantage for you to be able to take advantage of the benefits here. So as far as, Medicare Advantage goes, it's a great program. It's very, very beneficial to the policyholders. It's a great way to save money. But I think we all know that, when Medicare Advantage does have sort of an area of weakness or an area where the policyholder could get hit is when they get sick, when they end up in the hospital. That's when they're going to have those out-of-pocket expenses. For many, that's not a concern. So for many, they chose that Medicare Advantage plan based on the fact that, they can cover that expense. For many, they chose the Medicare Advantage plan because they have zero premium, because they don't have a lot of dollars to go around on a regular basis to be able to pay a premium. So what happens when they get sick and go in the hospital? Well, that's when that's really going to hurt, because there's going to be out-of-pocket expenses. So this is a plan that's designed to help pick up what your Medicare Advantage plan doesn't cover when you get sick and go to the hospital. So here are some more screenshots that I took directly out of our brochure for this product, and we don't have to go through them individually, but I just wanted to kind of show them to you, because this is a great educational / selling tool for you to share with your client. Just help them kind of understand the purpose for having a product like this. This slide in particular talks about an observation stay, and I won't go deep into that because you can really get into the weeds on that subject, but just know that a lot of times there's some differences there. If you end up in the hospital and you're only on an observation stay, there's sometimes some ramifications there that can get quite expensive later on down the road. Well, this hospital indemnity plan will cover you whether it's observational or inpatient, just so you know. We call this policy Hospital Indemnity Flex because there's lots of different ways you can design it, you can build it, it's very flexible. So the policyholder will have the freedom to choose benefits for hospital admission indemnity or daily hospital indemnity. So that's going to be your base of your plan, which you'll have to make a decision, and I'll talk more about that here in a second. And then you have all these other flexible options that can be added on or increased or decreased based on what they feel most comfortable with. You can add on coverage for skilled nursing, coverage for a doctor's office visit, an outpatient surgical procedure, an ER visit, an ER visit or an ambulance service, costs associated with a cancer diagnosis. Yes, you can add some cancer coverage in this. And then you also have an outpatient rehab rider that can be added on. So let's talk about the base option really quickly. Excuse me. So you have option one there, which is the hospital admission. That's basically a lump sum payment. So if let's say I'm a plan holder or a policy holder for this benefit, and I go in the hospital, then I'm going to get a lump sum payout, cash money paid to me, and it's going to be dependent on how much I selected when I bought the policy. You could go as little as $250. That's pretty small. You wouldn't want to go that low. Or you can go as high as $2,500. So that's where me as an agent, what I'm doing is I'm looking at the client's summary of benefits, and I'm seeing, what are they exposed for? What is their risk? If they're in the hospital for 4 days, let's say we looked at it and we determined it's $1,500. Well, then you can design this plan to pay them $1,500 if they go in the hospital. So that's what this is all about, just giving them that ability to pay it. And you don't have to do exactly $1,500. You can do as high as $2,500. It just depends on, how much premium they can afford and how much coverage they want to have. It says it's payable for once for each new period of care. A period of care on this is going to be 60 days. So what that means, like if I go in the hospital today and I'm there for at least 24 hours, then I'm going to get my benefit. Let's say it's $1,500. And then let's say I end up being sick again next week and I have to go back to the hospital. Well, in that case, I'm not going to be able to collect my $1,500 because I haven't been well for at least 60 days. If it was after that, if it was beyond 60 days, then I can collect the benefit again. So there's that 60-day period of care in there. That's why I actually like the option 2 here a little bit better, the daily hospital indemnity. So the way that would work is that if I whenever you build the plan, you choose the amount that you want to cover, but you also choose the number of days that you want to cover. So you can go as high as $700 a day, and you can choose up to 10 days. 10 days is a little high. I would personally say, let's just use the example of 6 days. I think 6 days is a good number. So let's say I go in the hospital today, I have 6 days of coverage. Let's say I'm only there 3 days, which is, a little longer than the average hospital stay at this point anyway. So if I go in there and I'm there for 3 days and then I'm discharged, but I get sick again next week and I have to go back, well, then I still have my 3 remaining days that I can pick up with. So that's personally why I like the daily benefit better than the lump sum, because you have a little bit more flexibility to decide how many days you want to have covered. So what happens if I end up using all of my 6 days? Well, again, after 60 days of not needing care, then your benefits totally reset. So you get your full 6 days back after 2 months of not receiving care, being well. So I personally like the whole idea of having more days versus a one-time lump sum. But again, it's your freedom to choose. That's why we call it the flex plan, because between you and the client, you can determine what's best for them. Beyond that, once you select one of those two options and start building out your plan, then you can decide how much daily skilled nursing benefit you want to have. You can do up to $200 a day for up to 100 days. You can do less days if you like. You can do up to 20, or you can start at day 21 and go through day 100, or you can go days 1 through 100. And by the way, this is going to pay in addition to any other benefit they have. So if they have more benefits for that skilled nursing, which oftentimes that's where we end up after we go in the hospital, we're not well enough to go home, but we're not sick enough to be in the hospital, so they send us to skilled nursing. So that's where this plan will kick in. If you also are still receiving benefits at that time from Medicare, then this doesn't conflict with that. You get both. You get your benefits from Medicare or any of your Medicare providers, and then you also get this. You can also do a a doctor's office visit. So let's say you have a client that goes to the doctor every couple months consistently, and they pay a out-of-pocket copay each time they go to the doctor's. Well, you can cover that copay. You can do as high as $60, and you can cover $20 per visit. You can do up to $60 per visit, and it covers 20 visits per calendar year. So every year they get 20 visits covered. So that can be a big deal. You know, when I first heard about that, I thought it was kind of a silly add-on, but I've talked to many agents over the last few years that they really love that, and they like providing that benefit to their client, because for them, that's kind of a disruption in their routine, their schedule, and their budget to go to the doctor's office every couple of months. So paying them back for that inconvenience, it's a big deal. You can also do an outpatient surgical procedure. So this is if they go into the hospital for less than a full day just to get some type of scheduled procedure done. You know, they're in the morning, but they're out in the afternoon. We can pay them back $1,500 once per year for that, depending on how much coverage you select. You can also do the ER visit or ambulance service. That's $200 twice per year to cover either of those. And then you can add on the cancer benefit. I think we've already talked about how important it is to have cancer coverage. This is a cash benefit. You can do as little as $2,500, as high as $5,000, or as high as $10,000. And that's a once per lifetime benefit. And then there's an outpatient rehab. I never thought personally about how big of a deal this could be until I had a family member a few years ago who had a stroke, and they had to go through a lot of speech, physical, and occupational therapy to kind of get back on track. And those visits get really expensive. So we can cover 15 or 30 visits per year at $50 per visit. And that's about usually what they run out of pocket, is about $50. So that's a very handy add-on here as well. We talked about period of care. I'm not going to go too deep into underwriting. Just know that on all of our ancillary plans, whether it be this one, the cancer plan, or the other ones that we're not getting into today, they're all basic underwriting. It's not real detailed. It's going to be basically just based on yes or no questions, and they're pretty liberal. As an agent, you just want to make sure you go through and answer all those questions, or help your client answer all those questions accurately. And then the other thing you'll need to do is check their prescription drugs. We actually have a drug list on our website. You can just type those drugs in there, and it will tell you if it's a drug that we won't accept, or if we'll accept it under certain conditions, things like that. We don't do any kind of phone interviews or anything like that. It's all just simplified underwriting using the yes or no questions. And I'll stop and take a breath because I'm running out of breath because I'm still fighting this cold. But ask John, is there any questions so far?
Yeah, we've got a couple that popped up. We're looking at a question that says, well, the tenure in the state of Illinois was for the Med Sup was the main product that they were concerned about in Illinois. And I think you addressed that, or it's been around as long as your company has. I'm going to send them some CSG information as well, but I wanted to verify that with you.
Okay. I believe that's accurate. Yep, go ahead.
Okay. And then the other one is, and this is something I don't know if you would like to do or not, but a comparison of your hospital indemnity products with other companies in the market, particularly GTL.
Right? Yeah, I mean, we get asked
How do
that
you feel that
question a
works?
lot. Yeah, I mean, we get asked that a lot, and I think it's a valid question. You know, GTL's got a great product. I think the thing that kind of stands out with them, and I got to be careful how I say this because I don't want to bash them. They're a great company, and they have a really fancy product that I really like a lot. I think what's different between us and them, and what attracts brokers to that product a lot, is the fact that it does have a guaranteed issue window around, you know, their 65th birthday. They can get on that plan without any underwriting, and I just think that that's really neat. That's a great feature to add. We don't offer that. Excuse me. And part of the reason why is because our goal long term, and I don't know what their goal is long term. I'm telling you, with us, with Aetna, our goal is to never have to raise the rates on this product. So if we're bringing in a block of business that we know we've you know always had an opportunity to just check to make sure they qualify from an underwriting standpoint, that protects us a lot more and protects all of our clients a lot more to be able to say, hey, we know what we're getting with this block of business because we've had a chance to look at the health of everyone that came on it. So we're less likely to ever have to do any kind of rate increase. But other than that, kind of on the broader subject, you know, I don't really compare us to other carriers out there. I think we have a great product. I think there's a lot of great products out there. I think Aetna's been in the game a long time, and I think we've got, you know, a lot of beneficial things about us as a carrier. In addition to having great products, we've got great compensation, and we've got great incentive packages that are put in for our agents' sake to help, you know, pad their pockets a little bit more as well.
Great. Thank you, Kevin. I think one thing as well, if you're in a household pitching Medicare Supplement and other products, it's your enrollment systems internally give you a great advantage to do that very simply as well. So
Yep.
some nice things that help a lot. And I think that will get us to the point where we can talk about a big topic of discussion with, are they going to add this to the base Medicare benefits? Big talk about dental, vision, hearing programs. If you would, let her rip.
Yeah. I mean, dental has been a hot topic for a long time in the Medicare world, and I know it's getting, you know, as John mentioned, talked about a lot more about potentially being a base benefit of Medicare. So, you know, in the meantime, until that's determined, we offer a really, really strong dental, vision, hearing product. We actually offer two. So the one I'm going to talk about today is our Dental, Vision, and Hearing Plus, which is new. It's only been around the last few months. Really excited about it. You know, if you go and look on our website, you'll notice that we also offer the other version of this, which is just dental, vision, hearing without the plus. What is the difference? Why do we have two different products here? I think it really just comes down to, and I like to kind of, you know, use the comparison of, there's a particular company out there that makes a lot of the most popular selling truck in America. I'll just say it's Ford, okay? And so Ford sells the F-150, which I'm a proud driver of myself, by the way. And they also sell Ford Rangers, and they also sell Ford F-250s. So that's kind of the way I compare this with us. Our Aetna Senior Supplemental Dental, Vision, and Hearing Plus plan is just one version of that product, kind of like Ford, their F-150 truck is just one version of their truck. There's just different models out there for fitting different needs. So I'm going to focus on this particular version today because it's our newest product and it's really popular. But just know that we have a different product out there that may be more attractive to you or your client. So I would encourage you to take a look at the others as well that we offer, just to see, you know, hey, what fits better for my client, because it may vary. So with the Dental, Vision, and Hearing Plus, the coverage can be for an individual, a couple, or a family. You can write it on anyone between the ages of 18 and 89. This one's guaranteed issue, so there's no health questions like most, you know, all dental plans really. There's no waiting period, and that's kind of what makes this plan stand out. You don't have any waiting period for preventative coverage, basic, or major dental services. So you can get coverage immediately for all levels of care with this product. You can choose a benefit for as little as $1,000 annually, or you can go as high as $3,000 annually. And this will be for every person that's covered on the policy will have this amount available to them individually. There is a $100 deductible per year per person on the policy. So everyone must meet that to get some of the benefits. Some benefits don't require the deductible, which I'll show you that in just a minute. You can go to any provider you want, but you do get more benefits if you go to certain providers, which I'll talk more about that here in a second as well. So for dental coverage, for preventative services, that's going to be your Class A benefits. The deductible does not apply. So you don't even have to cover that $100 to get your preventative services covered. There's no waiting period for that, so it starts immediately. It's covered at 100% when visiting a network provider. And as I mentioned before, we do have a specific network provider. Our partner for a network on this is going to be Carrington. Probably a lot of you have heard of Carrington. They're a big provider out there. And Carrington has millions of dentists. I mean, just about any major city is going to have hundreds and hundreds, and even smaller cities will have Carrington dentists in their cities or close by. So there's lots of different Carrington providers out there. This preventative services will cover cleanings and exams twice per year, as well as diagnostic exams and x-rays. So that's all built in without any deductible. Now, once you step up to the second tier of services, there is going to be the deductible of $100, but there's no waiting period once that deductible is covered. So in year one, it will cover 65% of this type of care. In year two, it will cover 80%, and that's beyond, after starting, that starts in year two, and then it goes for the life of the policy after that. So that's going to be for basic oral surgery and restorative services, periodontal services, fillings, extraction, and non-surgical services. So that's going to be for like your mid-level type services. Now for your major work, this is going to be after the deductible is applied, so there's no waiting period, but you must pay the deductible. The plan will pay in the first year 20% for any of this type of care, and then after the first year, beginning in year two, it's 50% for every year beyond that. So that's going to be things for like non-surgical extractions, endodontics, including root canals, periodontal surgery, fillings, bridges, crowns, dentures, and you can even use it towards implants. You can use $1,500 towards implants. That's a one-time, lifetime maximum benefit. You also have some orthodontics, which is a unique feature that's added into this plan. So there's a 12-month waiting period before that's covered. The plan will pay after the first year, so starting in year two, 50%, and there's a $1,500 lifetime maximum on that. Clear aligners are covered at $750 lifetime maximum, which that's, if anyone's dealt with braces lately, that's the big thing, is the clear aligners. So there's a lot of rich benefits built into this. This is a great plan to kind of get more immediate coverage and more advanced coverage than our other plan out there, the non-plus plan. And then you have vision. I won't spend a lot of time on this. I'll just say the vision benefits are nice. There is a 6-month waiting period. It's going to cover your glasses or contacts, your exams and lenses. You usually won't have much out of pocket. You're going to get big time discounts, not only when you use this plan to go to our providers, the IMED or VSP providers will give you major discounts when you use them. And I mentioned earlier Carrington for our dental. You get big discounts when you go to a Carrington provider as well with this plan. And then hearing is $500 during any one policy year. We'll pay up to 80% for like hearing aids and hearing exams, things like that. There is a 12-month waiting period for this. So that's it. And I'll just pause and see if there's any questions about the DVH Plus plan. But it's a really nice plan. It's been very popular, and we're excited to be offering it now. Is there any questions, Sean?
Nope, we're good.
All right, awesome. Well, I'm going to wrap it up with just a few more slides, let you know we have some really easy to use online tools, including our Quotes on the Go, which is a mobile app designed for you to be able to quote anyone, anywhere, anytime. To get it, you would just go to either the Apple Play Store, or the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and you just want to type in the words Quotes on the Go, and it will bring up this application. You download it. There's no password required or anything like that. And then from here, you can't do a full application, but you can do a mobile quote, and it's really handy. I use mine all the time. I'll strike up a conversation with somebody at a grocery store while I'm standing in line, and the next thing you know, I'm quoting them a cancer plan. And you can quote all our products from this plan. On our website, which again is AetnaSeniorProducts.com, you can use our Aetna Quote and Enroll tool. It's just our online e-app. Really, really user-friendly. And as John mentioned earlier, it's really easy to bundle products. You can actually write all of our products together bundled on one application just through our e-app. So if you were writing someone up with a med sup and you wanted to easily and quickly add on that dental, vision, hearing, you can do it right there on the application. So really, really handy to use and very, very user-friendly, as I said before. I want to also let you know we're here to help you. You can contact us either by email or go to our website or by phone. I'll leave this up for a second for anyone that wants to take this information down. I'll just stress again, the website will have most of your answers most of the time. It's aetnaseniorproducts.com, and it's a great, great, easy to use website. Here is our sales team. Depending on what state you're in, you're going to be in one of our 4 different regions, whether it be West, Midwest, East, or South. I cover the South region. So if you're in Alabama, Arkansas, Georgia, Louisiana, Mississippi, New Mexico, Oklahoma, or Texas, I am your go-to person. Feel free to give me a call or email me, or you can text me at that number too. If you can't reach me, you can also get a hold of Justine Sawyers or Suzanne Gilbo at the home office. We're all here to help you. And if you're in one of the other regions, Tony or George or Jeff's team is there to help you and support you as well. Hopefully everybody had a chance to take down those numbers and emails. If not, I will make sure John has this presentation and he will share it with you. Last but not least, we're doing some awesome sales incentives right now. We want to put an extra $125 into your pocket for your underwritten Medicare supplement business. Use our e-app to maximize your bonus. The bonus is decreased quite a bit if you use a paper app. We really, really don't like paper apps. We really, really will discourage you if you write a paper app. If you call me during the middle of AEP and tell me that you're having major problems with a paper app that you wrote, I will say, I tried to warn you to not write a paper app. This is your last warning. Do not use paper apps. They're out there if you need them, but I'm telling you, it's really in you and your client's best interest to use our e-app. In addition to our med sup incentives, we also want to bonus you $25 per sale on your dental, vision, hearing, cancer, heart attack, stroke, any of the other ancillary products. You can get $25 per sale on that. That, of course, is in addition to your commission. So please take advantage of that. And then hot off the presses, we just announced this. There's a lot of information on here, so try not to be overwhelmed. But we aren't announcing a trip, but we are instead announcing trip credits. So we will pay you cash to put towards you to take yourself and your significant other or a friend or family member on a trip. The area that you want to look is going to be the Agent Elite Producer area. So a Tier 1 producer can earn a $4,000 reward credit to go on a trip, which will be a pretty nice trip right there if you write just $225,000 in annualized premium. And this dates back to January 1st of this year. So anything you've written this year through the end of this year will count towards this. And then we'll be announcing a new incentive in late December, I think, for next year. So again, I'll get copies of this to John so he can share it with everybody. I will stop, say thank you all very much. I know I went long. I know I was fighting my voice. I apologize for that. If there's any other questions, I'll be happy to address them now.
I think we're good. I thank you for that. And folks, I think you realize now with Kevin's presentation, while we asked them to come on at this particular time of the year, because you're looking at a carrier that will address product that's necessary throughout the year, but is really a big feature during AEP in our discussions with the people we meet with. And it's also really important for us to have the tools combined that the carrier offers in order to deliver on the product, make you as effective, as time efficient, and as compliant as possible. So we thank you for that. I'm going to assume control again for just a little bit and finish up with just a short number of slides. Kevin, once again, thank you for your help. You've heard why you would want Aetna as part of your portfolio now through AEP and throughout the rest of the year. Some reasons why you'd want to do that with us at Premier Marketing is we do have software packages that help you store your agent profile, create the answers for different questions that are asked when it comes to contracting, but it's a nice place as a repository for your errors and omissions coverage, things of that nature that are there for you. And as you look at a market and see different programs that are necessary to become part of your portfolio, this is a great way to electronically do that. A lot of those carriers participate in this. Some do, and still might be more effective if we do some things direct with them. So we make certain that we do that for you as an agent active in the field. And in doing so, you need errors and admissions coverage. We offer discounted programs for that for qualified agents. What makes you a qualified agent? Well, you got a contract with us. But this is something that you own. So it's not like being added to a blanket E&O policy by a marketing organization and covering you for one company. This is something you own, and even cover some of the variable products that are becoming more difficult to find coverage for. We have that same sort of arrangement in a manner of speaking with discounted continuing education credits. Keep your license in play through our relationship with WebCE, and you have an opportunity to add to your own benefit package as an independent agent, where you can get modified guarantee issue disability income insurance for yourself at a discounted rate, modified guarantee issue, and you get paid a commission on it as well. Much as where today's presentation is being recorded, will be on our website at premiersmi.com and on our YouTube channel. We have gone through things in the past and recorded other webinars as well. Those are available for you 24/7. They include product presentation from specific carriers, like what we talked about today with Aetna Senior Supplemental, but also some marketing techniques to get you in front of people to offer those programs, sometimes in unique fashion. So we'll walk through some of the detail that we have there for you on our website. Well worth the period of time that you invest in that, much as where today's presentation was too. And as an agent with marketing, one of the integrity partners, you have access, to quote JJ Walker on television, it's free. It's one of those things where you have a program available to you, a universal login for access to 3 quoting engines, the ability to obtain that scope of appointment and store it compliantly for that 10-year period if you sell them or not, and a CRM within that system to help you track your business as well. It gives you that opportunity to save that prescription information year over year, help you do your annual reviews with your clients, not just to preserve that business that you already have in play, but to pursue additional benefits with them as well. And one of those tools is a fill in the blank piece. So if you go in a household and there's a Medicare Advantage member who knows they're in the plan they want to be in, aren't going to change, just want you to reassure them, this gives you the opportunity to fill in the gaps on that MA program with hospital indemnity insurance. And you can select Aetna Senior Supplemental for those programs through this. It'll plug those gaps for you, give you the opportunity to speak to other product that you properly marked on the scope of appointment when you procured that document. One of the things too that makes a big difference, and Kevin speaks to this often during his presentation, is the fact you have the more products you have in a household, the better your persistency, your retention is going to be. And the products don't have to be necessarily with the same company, they just have to be with the same agent, and that's you. However, Aetna makes it easy by adding additional products through their enrollment programs. A great way for you to make certain that you protect your salary, finger quotes working there, of your renewals, and an opportunity to add to that number throughout the year. We do post on our website as well the different carrier incentives, much as what Kevin mentioned today with the per app piece that you might see at levels with MedSup. Other programs for the ancillary products helps you qualify for those trips. Kevin talked about how that's bucks for you because, hey, we're in a new normal. People hate that term sometimes, but that's where we are. And those also help you qualify for premier incentive programs as well, which last year turned into cash. We do put you in front of people through different marketing techniques, contact list available to you for cold calling. Can't cold call for MA or PDP, but you can for MedSup. And a lot of folks are using those to call for dental coverage as well, because in many cases that premium goes up at 65, a great way for you to fill your T65 funnel. We do also offer information about the other community-based programs, including the retail programs that are available to you through various carriers and the Walmart initiative, different programs to help you work with faith-based organizations and providers as well. And in many cases, the carriers will generate prospects for the agents that have worked with them throughout the year, that symbiotic role, mostly MAPDP carriers is where this come into play. We do offer internet leads and direct mail support. And one of the things you'll find as part of the follow-up is a recording to a referral system that can help multiply a single lead into multiple leads effortlessly. That mail program is a deeply discounted cost for direct mail based on past production, but there are two programs. One that helps you with health programs like what we talked about today with MedSup, ancillary products, and then a separate one for those that are marketing final expense. So you can qualify for this twice based on what you're selling. We do so through a preferred lead vendors list. We've vetted these organizations. They work very well. We also want to make certain that they respond quickly to you, but also help keep you in compliance with the correspondence they send out. For those that don't have a direct mail campaign in play now, are worried about that 2 to 3 week turnaround with us butting up against October, we do also have a couple of programs that will help you with direct mail responses. Fresh leads, not touched, but it's not same day stuff as if you control the entire process. Still great leads, great way for you to get in front of folks, fill in some holes in your calendar, and keep in mind the leads and cost of these for the different products will vary from time to time, from area to area. So be prepared for that. The internet lead program that we have are Facebook leads through final expense exposure and through Medicare offerings as well. Pricing on those can be available to you as well. We have different pieces that describe those, and we do so in that fashion because those vary as well. That referral process, well, it goes beyond the folks you're dealing with on a sales basis, but keep in mind, go back to your book of business as you do the review with those individuals that are part and parcel of your agency's lifeblood. We want to make certain that they help you with a different infusion of fresh blood, so to speak, by talking about their friends, neighbors, whatever it happens to be, relatives that need your help as well. We say all this simply because we want your business. We want to be referable to you. Our staff in Norfolk is incredible in all phases. We want your business. Please consider that. And when you look at Aetna overall, senior supplemental, if you've already got this in your portfolio, be it with us or an organization, make certain that it is a key component in your personal marketing plan. Don't wait for tomorrow, that round to it type of thing. Consider the line out of John Wayne's The Cowboys, slap a piece of bacon in that biscuit, saddle up and let's ride because we're burning daylight. These programs can be sold year round. Keep that in mind and make certain that you are utilizing the strengths of the programs that Aetna Senior Supplemental offers. You can also reach us to help go through additional detail on this if need be at our toll-free number at 1-800-365-8208. You can reach us through contact or through our website and watch for the follow-up that'll come where you can respond to that and we'll take care of you that way as well. All that said and done, until we have an opportunity to visit with you in the near future, I want to thank you for the time you invested in today's presentation. I want to thank you for the relationship you may have had with Premier Marketing in the past, and for those of you that are considering that moving forward. Thank you. We appreciate the business and we thank you for it. All that said and done, until we are able to visit again, we wish you good selling. Thanks so much. Thank you, Kevin, and we'll speak to everyone as soon as possible. Thanks.